Hello everyone, we are students from Youth Cultural course. We are the students who studied about Korean history and culture. Also, we introduced our history and cultures to the foreigners. Usually, we met foreigners at the spot outside, but because of COVID-19, we couldn't do our job as usual. So, we are making videos to introduce the hidden cultural heritage of Korea. Today, we will introduce about the royal tombs of the Joseon dynasty. On the basic, I will introduce the summary of our country's history. A long time ago, the humans were using the rocks for living. Later, on the land of the Korean peninsula, there was the first country of Korea. Soon, many countries and cultures were appeared and disappeared. In the meantime, one country called Goryeo unified the country on the land of Korean peninsula. Joseon dynasty was the country later Goryeo. It is the last dynasty of Korea. In specific, Joseon was based on Confucianism, so the important buildings like palace was built based on Confucianism. Also, the people of Joseon believed the feng shui theory, which is a theory of divination based on topography. So most of the structures like palace, tomb, and temple was built on the good land based on feng shui theory. The royal tomb of the Joseon dynasty is a site where the tombs of kings and queens of the Won dynasty, which lasted 519 years and perfectly preserved. The royal tomb of the Joseon dynasty is scattered across 18 regions and has a total of 40. The royal tomb, which was built over the 5 centuries from 1408 to 1966, was dedicated to honoring and respecting ancestors and their achievements, strengthening the royal authority while protecting the spirit of ancestors from evil forces and preventing damage to tombs.
From now on, I'm gonna tell you about how did they made the royal tombs from Joseon dynasty. Since it's the royal tomb of the king, they need to find the best place before building it. During the Joseon dynasty, Baesanimsu was the best place to build it, according to feng shui principles. There was a mountain in the back and water in the front. If you look at this picture, you can see that almost all the royal tombs are located at the end of the mountain stream with the river in front of them. If you look more closely, it looks like this. This tomb is for Munjo, which is a man who was honored as king by previous king. It looks frugally simple, but it has a lot of meaning. If you follow the eyes of the descendants who visit the shrine below, you will not see the tomb because of its height and the pavilion. This gives you a sense of magical and reverence. Here is the main point for this introduction: the way it's made. Inside the royal tomb, there is a stone chamber made of stone, where the king's body is enshrined. It is safe from outside intrusion because it is made of solid structure. The furnace surrounding the stone chamber is square-shaped board. After digging a pit in the ground, a tube or a crate is used to lay a piece of dough, which is a product similar to cement, and was the first contributor to the prevention of the theft. Also, it is harder than concrete retrograde wall. Before making the stone chamber, they laid stones, assembled a wall, placed the above-mentioned rounds, blocked the entrance and roof. They made bigger stone to keep it, and the next step will come. After that, about 30 centimeters of charcoal are placed on the top of it, which prevented moisture, and they laid many layers and some of thin stones to prevent the tomb from collapsing. At the end, the grace was placed at the top of it to make it perfect. If you look at this process, you can see that the technology was excellent. It took an average of 5 months to make all of this. These skills show our great science skill.
Joseon Royal Tombs Sanneung Gwangnung. Sanneung is the tomb of King Sunjong, the 9th king of Joseon, and Yoon, the 3rd queen of King Sunjong. Sanneung was built in its present location when Sunjong passed away in 1494, and when Queen Jeonghyun passed away in the 25th year of King Jungjong. There is a tomb of Queen Jeonghyun on different hills with one Jeongjagak. Sunjong is the son of Chujon Deokjong and the Queen Sohye's Queen Insu, who rose to the throne at the age of 13. During the region, the legislative system was reorganized based on the Confucian ruling ideology, such as the completion of the Gyeonggukdaejeon. Queen Jeonghyun was originally a concubine of Seongjong, but became queen in the 11th year of King Seongjong. Gwangnung in Namyangju is the tomb of King Sejo, the 7th generation Joseon dynasty, and the Queen Jeonghye-yoon. It was registered as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2009 and designated as Historic Site number 197. Gwangnung was the first royal tomb of Joseon to create separating tombs for kings and queens on separate hills, and the Dongwon in the form of a Gwangnung style in which one Jeongjagak was built in the middle. When viewed from the front of Jeongjagak, the hill on the left is Sejo, and the hill on the right is the tomb of Queen Jeonghye. Sejo made many achievements such as strengthening the kingship and reforming land and government control. It was Sejo who brought great innovation to the royal tomb in early Joseon. Sejo left an affirmation that when I die, I have to rot quickly, so I will not use stone chambers and stone walls, and not to erect screens. It is said that Sejo decided to survive by his own tomb, who fell in love with the forest and was here.
Gwangnung Royal Tomb was the tomb of King Taejo of Joseon Dynasty and is a model of the royal tomb system in Joseon Dynasty. Basically, it follows the style of the tomb of King Gongmin of the Goryeo Dynasty, but it shows a certain change in the composition and layout of stone structures, such as placing a grain field around the tomb, which was not found in the royal tombs of Goryeo Dynasty. Like other royal tombs, the tomb was covered with silver grasses, not grass, and the annals of King Injo recorded that Changwon was covered according to King Taejo's Confucianism. 12 granite folding screens are located in the tomb, and the tombstone is carved with the 12 zodiacal gods, royal edicts, and monetary tablets. Outside the folded screen, there are 12 bays of railing stone, and outside of the railing, there are 4 stone lakes and 4 suns in rotation. The shape of the lagoon and the sunset is facing outside, and it has the meaning of protection. There is a tombstone in front of the tomb. Below the tombstone is 5 drum-shaped stones inscribed with goblins, and 1 stone is standing on each side. In the relay, Moonsok with a long lantern and stone horse is placed, while the summer there is a stone man and a stone horse to both sides. Below the tomb there are Jeongjagak, the pavilion, Subok Bang, Suragan, Hongsalmun, and Panri. Inside the tomb there is a monument erected by King Taejo to commemorate the death of King Taejong, and a tombstone that was preserved as Emperor Taejo after the proclamation of the Korean Empire. When King Taejo passed away on May 24th, 1408, he designed a burial site at Komansan Mountain in Yangju on June 28. At the end of July, the construction of Mountain Tomb began and launched on September 9. A total of 6,000 military governments were drafted, including 3,500 from Cheongdo, 2,000 from Haedo, and 500 from Gwangwon-do for the construction of mountain. King Taejo wanted to bury with Queen Sindok, the second queen, during his lifetime, so he had his own place in Cheongnae. But the tomb of Queen Sindok, King Taejong did not follow King Taejo's will and built the tomb in its present place.
I wish you guys all enjoyed our explanation about the royal tomb of the Joseon dynasty, Joseon Wangneung, where you can feel the breath of the kings of all time. I think here, Joseon Wangneung is not only a wonderful place to learn about on historical point of view, but also it's a wonderful place to take a rest and walk. Unfortunately, we feel so sad to have an explanation on online because of COVID-19. Nowadays, because of COVID-19, we can't meet or visit historical sites such as Joseon Wangneung, but I hope you all had a great time in online too. Bye!